My apologies, everybody. Sorry. I went to here. Let's get some artwork on screen. Uh, Went to get some tea. Thought it would only take me 2 minutes. Turns out that's not true. All right, let's start recording this too. Probably be streaming for like 2 hours. We'll see. We'll see how she goes. Working on the good stuff here. Some Jessup. Chris, how you doing? You are. You slid right in as the door was coming down. I like it. Good to see you, buddy. Everybody else, welcome, welcome. I picked up. I went for a walk today and picked up some green tea, like the cheapest no-name brand stuff. That's how I like to roll. And so far, it is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Put a little sprinkle of lemon in there. Let's give it a little. This might be annoying to some of you guys, but just bear with me for a sec. Uh, it tastes like hot lemon. Maybe maybe it's too much lemon. I don't know. Great now. Welcome, buddy. Pillhead, my brother, man. How you doing? How you guys doing? All right. Feeling recharged, man. Feeling like a lightning bolt hit me in the ass this week. That's good. Sorry, just trying to find my Anthony. How you doing, my brother? I am awesome. I hope you guys are doing well too. All right, let's take a look here. So, I got the table, the standing table going, but I jacked up the height of this thing, so now it's almost like eye level. I've been noticing that, like after coming home from work and all that fun stuff, as you do, I'm getting that. You guys might have it too if you guys draw a lot. Is like those rounded shoulders, where everything's coming forward and my back's getting snapped up and ugh, it's just no fun. All right, so let's just get into it. We're doing Jessup King issue 2 here. I just posted. I posted a video of where did we leave off actually? Okay, we're doing this one of another Scribble Chat episode, just talking about some updates and that. And I'll clue you guys into if you care. If not, that's okay. We can all still hang out and draw pictures. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, everybody. We just hit over like 15,000 subs on the channel, which is insane. It's been a long burn, that's for sure, right? This channel's been going on for what now? 7 years, 9 years, something stupid, somewhere along there. And I am in no manner of the word. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. Trying to get like millions of subs and stuff. Like I don't. I have no intent of being any like the big YouTube art channels at all. I'm not trying to push that stuff. A lot of it is just streaming. It's just slow, organic, blah 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 stuff. So anyway, thank you guys for subbing. I do appreciate that and joining me on this fun little adventure. Especially this next chapter here, like especially I think last year when we were doing Jessup King issue 1, right? And I tried my best. It wasn't always successful, but I tried my best to try to stream pretty much all of it. And I think there's a good chunk there for those interested in, going. I can't imagine people are going to go through that many hours of content, but if you're remotely interested in, like, seeing somebody fumble through their first webcomic, I guess. But I think the value that I haven't gone back and done, and I should really make a video on this, just talking about okay, now that it's been out, what's sucked and what's been great, what mistakes, what things should I move on and learn, all that cool stuff. Cedric, my man, how you doing? Just in the final touches of the animation trailer. Oh, the trailer comes out tomorrow. I totally forgot. Please hit me on Facebook, man. I'll be at work, or you'll hit me when I'm done work. I would love to see it. I can't wait, man. That's all good, dude. Anthony, how did you come up with that background? I want to make backgrounds like that in your animation. Oh, this here, I just drew it. I know. I love how nonchalant I say that. I just drew it. Actually, here, let me see. Let's see if I was a good boy and recorded our last stream. I don't know if I released it yet. Let me just see. I can scrub through it. Just give me one quick second here, fellers and ladies. Let's see here. No, that's definitely not the right one. Is it this one? Is it this one? No. Hey, everybody. Is it this one? Let me just mute this. I don't want to hear the sound of my voice. Let's see. Here, I'll move it over here so you guys can see what the hell I'm looking at. There we go. Okay, so I did, I guess, stream some of it. Yeah, so just like everything else, you can kind of see here, right? Actually, I forgot. Thank you. I want to make a shortcut. Please remind me if I ramble on, guys, and you guys can bring me back. Just bookmark this. Make a shortcut to snap to rulers, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second. So this one here, you can see I had like a very rough thumbnail down there. And what I'm doing, and I've shared this with you guys before, I'm a big fan of doing this. This is a file called, or a program called Puref, this black thing here. Puref. It's free. You can donate money to it. I did myself just because I use this at work. I think this is tremendous. I'm not plugging their product, but I do think it's awesome. You can just punch in a whole bunch of like reference, right? So this is these three here. They're usually the standard fare. This character here, actually, I got to update that. I said that last time. You know what? Let's do this right now. Enough saying, more doing. Issue 2 reference. Where is she? So Peace is now a female. Just drag her in. There she goes. This guy. See you later. Boom. GTFO. And I think you hold, what is it? Alt? Nope. Is it Control? Nope. Maybe it's Shift. Nope. Maybe it's Alt on the left side. Really? You're gonna be like this today? Maybe it's Shift and Alt. It is. Okay, so go there. Let me just save it. Cool. So what I like to do, and you might turn your eyes to this or say this is bad, John, bad artist. Pinterest is one of my favorite places in the world to go to lately. So that, and actually, what's it called? ArtStation. Just recently, a buddy that I work with, he's turned me on to it. I like to pop in there every now and then. But anyway, on Pinterest, what I like. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. All right, so what I was saying, I'll try to run through this quick so we can get back to drawing. But on Pinterest, especially, you can create private boards so nobody will see them. What I like to do is when I plot a comic, uh, especially when I plot a comic, but if I don't plot one and it's sort of like going on in the background, I just like to save things that I know are like an interesting thing. So in this case, it's like this Asian inspired sort of design that we got all up in here. And instead of always having to look for reference when you need it or whatever, you just plump it in here or plunk it in here and you're good to go. So that's what I like to do. But what I don't want to do is copy it, right? So you can see there's different things. So as I look at this, I'm always getting inspired by certain things that like today I might notice something I didn't notice tomorrow. That's what I like to do with this stuff. So we put that over here, and you can see in the video, all like I'm just drawing this normally, like there's nothing. I don't want to say too fancy going on, but the reason why I was talking about that shortcut key is because what I was doing with this is actually busted out a real ruler, and I slapped it on the Cintiq. I was doing straight lines. It was actually being a little bit more cumbersome, but it was fun. It was fun, and what I want to do is make that. Let's just do it now. Here, actually, here. Let me just skip around here so you can kind of see some, I guess, some progress. Okay, I guess I was BRB for a long time there. Is if I can have a shortcut that turns on the toggle for snapping to ruler, you can get like curves and lines, so you're not always like you have to go over here and click, turn the ruler off. Go over here, click, turn the ruler off. You know what I mean? So actually, just let me save this up. I just want to do this, and I'm gonna catch up with what you guys are saying in the chat here too. Okay? Oops, my hand's sliding all over the place. Are you saving? Come on. Okay, it's saving. All right, let's go new. She's a little slow today. I don't know what the hell's going on. All right, and also I think I have like one of these is like a shortcut. I thought I did. Convert bright. Oh, it is convert. Okay, cool. I forgot. All right, you guys don't need to know about that. All right, so let's try to figure out. So what I want is this one right here, snap to ruler. Okay, so let's go File, Preferences, and I want something. It's like just a button on the keyboard that I can just click and draw that's comfortable. So we're gonna go to ruler. Oh wait, sorry. Oh, we're in the wrong thing. So File, Shortcut Settings, I believe. Here we go. Now let's try to find a ruler. Tool, I think. One thing that's super awesome about Clip Studio is the fact that pretty much everything can be customized, and that's actually very important. I find it more so important now. Like in Photoshop, you kind of get used to using Photoshop, but this stuff, it just having that flexibility to do something like what I currently want, like just to find something like that. Actually, it's pretty cool. Now watch me not be able to. Now saying all that, watch me not be able to find it. Um, hmm. Where oh where can the where is it? No, nope, 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 nope. We need a ruler. All right, it's got to be under a tool, right? Move, correct line, brush, airbrush, eraser, blend, fill, marquee, wand, figure, select, move layer. And I also realize how unfun this is to watch. I'm just going to quickly check chat in case you guys are letting me know. And I'll definitely answer your questions again. I know I keep saying that. I'm just trying to find this freaking thing. Maybe it's in here. Window, filter. I doubt it'll be in. Might be here. Zoom in. Ruler. Oh, we don't want this. We want snap. There it is. There it is. Snap to ruler. All right. Now I want a nice, juicy, maybe page down. Page down. Does that work? Does that work for us? Let's see if we can add a shortcut to this thing. Page down. Yeah. All right. So we gotta do the test, right? So sweet. All right, so now if I press page down, this thing. Oh wait, what is this? Snap to special ruler? What is that? Maybe I got the wrong one selected. All right, so if I go here, yeah, it's not gonna work. Click it. Doesn't work. Great. That works. Okay, so this is the fun stuff. This is how you figure out what workflow can get improved by doing this stuff. All right, so I think it's special ruler is the one I wanted, clearly, right? So I hit page down. Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's just go back here and fix this. Shortcut settings. So it's under view. Where are we going here? Right here. Let's delete a shortcut. So we want snap to special or ruler. So I don't know what that other ruler is. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Edit. Nope, sorry, keep hitting the wrong thing. Add shortcut, page down. And I want to show you guys why if this works. Oh, baby. All right, so this is why I wanted to try doing this. So I find that when we're working with the ruler, that sometimes it's a little bit of a bitch to get like some like organic sort of designs going. You know, like sometimes you want to. I'll show you here, right? So let's say we're doing a building. So we're on there, right? Whoops. Doing like a building, cool. I don't know, something like this. But every now and then you kind of want to get in there and just like noodle something. So if I can just click this button now, so I can kind of, do some fiddly thing, and then also just be able to snap that in, turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on. And you could do like snap these all in, bang, bang, bang. That's what I want. Okay, cool. Because then the reason why I just wanted to put that out there again is in a scene like this, if you look, there's a lot of like there's some straight lines, right? But like all in here, this is wacky town. You're not getting a ruler, and to always go up here to click to do this line, to click to, you know what I mean? Anybody that's used a ruler tool, I'm hoping you kind of have an idea what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, let me back up and say hello to everybody and see everything you guys are saying. Okay. That house isn't in SketchUp? No, this isn't. I'll have to redraw this over and over again. Oh, non-digital, right? uh, thanks, you, Anthony. I think she looks badass too. When painting backgrounds, do you paint them different shades of gray? I will be doing that, but this whole thing is color, right? So if you guys go back, I encourage you to go back to read. Just go to jessupking.com. You can check all the backgrounds that I already did in the first issue. What I'm going to have to do though is in this one, I'm going to start really pushing the backgrounds, because what happened is in the first issue, what I noticed was when things got really busy, everything started melding together because I'm not using really gradients at all too much when I'm coloring. I want everything to be pretty much, pretty flat looking. And when I started to just use flat colors and all that, it became a little pain, in the butt. And then the art started to take a hit. So hopefully in this one, you'll see, like, especially in this kind of scene, we're gonna have like these floating islands in the background a little bit, and even these rocks, we can really push those back. Bitey, how's it going, brother? I keep PureRef open all day, pasting screenshots of email settings and crap to the. Hey, no problem. Glad you like it. Stop sticks. Hello, hello. Am I on loan? I don't know what loan is. Am I on Discord? Not really. I was on for like some video game stuff, but I hear a lot of people are on that for art as well. But I haven't really looked for a community or anything on there either, though. So I'll say no. Are you guys on there? Okay, so one of the updates I wanted to talk about here before I got totally off track. I talked about in that Scribble Chat episode there. So after issue 2 here of Jessup, I'm not saying I'm done Jessup King, and I'm not at all. But I want to start moving into, what's a good way of saying it? Just sort of like short comic stories or something that could just be anything. They don't have to be an ongoing series or anything. And the reason for that, and some of you could roll your eyes and get pissed off here, which is which is totally cool, is that I'm going again. I'm not going again, but I am trying to pitch to Marvel and DC and attempt to get work with those guys and gals again. And I'm not quite sure what that means, other than I need more portfolio stuff. And one thing that's happening with Jessup, and to be clear, and this is why I say it could bother some people, and that's fine. But my intent was never really to do Jessup King as like indie screw Marvel DC kind of stuff. It was to use, it was leverage for me to get portfolio work that I could continually send to those guys while I was waiting for potential like sample scripts and stuff. But now I've come to realize that like you know, those companies, it's just like any job you go for in life, right? Like if you're gonna go try to work at a company, especially like let's say a video game company or whatever, like for concept art, there's a style that works for them, right? You're most likely probably not going to have like a God of War profile or a portfolio and try to work at Disney. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you kind of want to curate what they're doing with what you're doing to so that they can go, yeah, I could see the fit, right? Like you could fit in there. So I have a couple ideas already that are floating around, like old ideas that I'll be able to put together so we can get some more comic stuff going. You guys will see all that, and I wouldn't worry about that until like after issue 2 here's done. Not that anybody's really worried about this. And again, I don't want to just keep promoting Patreon here, but for those that are following me over on Patreon, you guys will always get like all that info first. So if you're excited for that, cool. If not, that's cool too. Actually, you know what? Let's put this going like that. Actually, I'm not going to put any lines in here because we're going to just color this. There'll be water coming through. Hey Ben, how's it going? Jessup again, how's it going? It's going good, brother. When did you start getting the idea of making Jessup? Well, I have a poster on my wall when I first started, when I thought I was going to do something, and it was 2013. Is that right? 2013. But Jessup started off as a totally different project before. It was the Mighty Mustache was the first version. And Jessup, I actually don't think I have anything scanned in, but Jessup originally was just like this odd looking bounty hunter. He kind of looked like this. Hold on. Let's see if I can draw him from scratch here. The original Jessup was like, actually, let's go like a large inking. He had like this. We'll do a 3/4. Had the goggles. These weird looking. I don't know why. He always looked pissed off. Regular guy. He had like this weird. I don't know what the hell was going up the top. It was like this weird like helmet mask thing, and he had a gun. Here, we'll draw a little pew pew gun. Pew pew pew. And this was Jessup King right here, something like this. Can you imagine? Actually, I think he had. I think I gave him a goatee too to make him feel more badass, but to also play off the helmet that was going up here. So hey, sometimes ideas when they start, you need time. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Jessup, that started probably in 2008, somewhere around there. But to be fair, along the way, Jessup has changed radically. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a moment when it was a wrestling version. Let's see if I have any of that in here. Uh, but here, we can always do this. Oh, this was like when it was first done. This is 2015, is that right? 2015 doesn't sound right because this is a new computer. I think that's when I got this computer. Let me see here. Version 2. No, we want the first version. Like he first came out as a mini comic. Let's see, 2011. Yeah, maybe it was 2011. That sounds about right. right? But this is where he looks very similar to what he looks like now. But this was like that mini comic back in the day. And in here, he was still like he had a gun and he shot the gun. So it still played off that. Um, but he was still a bounty hunter in this one, right? Here he is fighting like some monster thing. But he had like this Dragon Ball Z kind of like pod thing, and his suit was an artificial intelligence that could talk to him. See, so he was like, ugh, nothing like getting shot down from your bounty. This will be what, third ship this month? Fourth, Captain. Technicalities. Now let's find something to eat. Yes, Captain. Scanning local area for edible life. Targets found directly above. Girl. So like it's not even like now he's like there's no way he would eat an animal, right? Like he's very much like a big teddy bear. Totally different character, but I'll start somewhere. But yeah, so there's that, and then eventually it went to. Let me just see. I know there's a character. A lot of people really dug him. Yeah, okay, so this was when Jessup was in his wrestling outfit. It's still very much like to do something with this stuff too. So this is when he was a wrestler. Um, and there was another wrestling guy. Oh, Malice. You guys remember Malice? I don't know if you remember him or not. Malice was like the current champion. Check out that big old belt. Trust me, when I briefly talked to you guys and told you guys about like there's gonna be new comics coming out that are totally unrelated, I'm bringing these characters back in a whole different story because I like the plot still works. So and I want to draw wrestling stuff. So these guys will be in there. Jessup won't. I can just draw the design you guys saw and change the mask or whatever. It's somebody else altogether. Yeah. So this was Yellow Angel. If you guys remember him, he's got like the electric halo over his head. Look at him. Spoiler, I think he dies in the first. I think I had like a more badass picture than that of him. Maybe it's one of these. Let's check them out. I like going through these old folders. Sometimes you see some odd things. Look at him. And I tried to make like the mask like a crown. What else we got here? There was a time here you can see when Momo was like a literal spell, like she's a wizard kind of spellcaster now, but this is when I was going full like let's turn her into like a mage from Final Fantasy or something. And you can tell too, I was going in here and adding a little bit more rendering, like the old school kind of rendering. So it's funny how there's different iterations for all this kind of stuff. This is when I drew when I was working at Dollarama. This is 2012. So this is like, Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of thing, right? Where he's going to take this crystal kind of thing. But again, it was very much the bounty hunter. The reason I stopped doing the bounty hunter thing is I couldn't, not like I'm not a great writer at all, but I couldn't figure a way to write an interesting story. It was always him trying to take something, and then he became Han Solo-ish, and I was just like, I don't have a voice there. I'm not interested at all. Here, still playing around, right? Like so he's got like this like aura around his suit. This is before he had powers and stuff. I didn't know what he was and all that. Uh, this one was from a game we did at work, but I also secretly tried to design this to be like Baby Jessup Adventures. So I snuck him in. Um, this is like what I would do at the day job when we were doing like the cute stuff, right? So there's this guy and all these like video game looking monsters coming at him. What else we got? I saw something that was probably a spoiler. Oh yeah, this is a spoiler if you guys care. Um, so this guy was talked about in the first issue, Scourgix. So he's gonna show up too. He's got like all these like little blade nipples around him, and he shoots them out, and they turn into these little nibbler kind of guys. So he'll show up. But the next issue coming out, issue 3, is this guy's prime time. But I don't know his name yet or anything. But we're going Dragon Ball, right? That's where we're going. Okay, let's close all this and Get back to the work. Got work to do. Can't keep having fun all the time. Got to put some time in for work. I remember attempting to add female hair to a drawing of Jessup when I was younger. Oh, really? I don't remember that at all. Ben, do you feel like you had a different mindset when you came up with Jessup, or that your place in life has changed your design? Oh, 100%. When I first started Jessup, I just want to let me just say this and put this out there, okay? Because I just, in case this is, if anybody's thinking like this, please do not think that there's any grand vision to Jessup, or that it's this thing that I've been waiting forever to finally be able to do, and I finally got the balls to go, you know what? I'm going to sit down and do the work to make this thing a reality. Because none of that's true. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave all that in there. I was going to fill this in with white. I'm going to leave it in there because when we color this, I can just change it to a light blue. Yeah, that sounds good. So there's no grand plan with Jessup. There's nothing that was... It's a lot of it's just flying off the seat of my pants here. I have some plots written down, and I'm just kind of just having fun with it. Um, but when Jessup first started, the only reason he exists in the current form that he's in is because of a website called, I don't even know if it's still up. It was the Art and Story podcast, and on there they had this forum that you could pay for, and I couldn't find a lot of art communities, like especially comics. And in that podcast, to this day, I highly recommend people read or listen to, just because they dive into a lot of the literally the nuts and bolts of making comics. I think that's their slogan, or it was at one point. And yeah, so they had this one thing, and I thought it was super simple, which was if you wanted to, everybody could sign up and make a mini comic, and everybody that participated, you would mail out your finished mini comic to them, and everybody would do the same. So you ended up getting like 20 mini comics. It was actually really cool. It was apparently a bitch to organize though, because as a lot of artists, amateur and otherwise, will tell you, it's super difficult to commit to a decision or a deadline. That's the one thing I'll recommend all my art friends here do. Get in the habit of finishing stuff. Don't just jump around too much. Take my word for that. So it was just meant to be like a 7 or 8 page mini comic, and the original story I came up with was called The Hunger. It was nothing special. It was like this little goblin guy, and he was hungry, and he tried to kill a bird to eat it. So he tried throwing a rock, tried throwing a spear, and then he finally tried to throw a net, and he couldn't catch it at all. And then at the end, the big reveal is, even though he was missing throwing it at the bird, this giant monster shows up with a big goose egg on his head, a spear in his chest, and a net on him. And now that thing was trying to eat him. Real clever, right? So I had the plots done, but the goblin character, I just didn't. I wasn't very good at doing like cutesy kind of stuff. So I just couldn't get that character design to work right. So that's where I just decided to plug in Jessup. He was just a design I had floating around, which was a play off of the Mighty Mustache, which I've told you guys about that before too. And there he goes. And then from there, nothing really ever came from that, but it was like the first finished comic. That's why I recommend you guys all do one mini comic in your life if you've never even done a published comic or anything, because you will learn so much about that it behooves you to do it. Get your pride out of the way, or that you're too good for it. Just do it. You'll feel so much better for it. That's the Jonathan guarantee. You can trust me. It's awesome. It's awesome. So fast forward a whole bunch of years, and again, I had no voice for Jessup still. I didn't like where I went with him there, and then inevitably, I started softening his character up. I started making him more humble and more of, I guess, I don't want to say putting me in there. That I feel like that paints me in a light that like I'm something special with this stuff, um, but just like how I became a vegan and stuff like that, so Jessup became like a little outlet that I could sort of like a vehicle that I could use to spread my propaganda, right? Like I don't think I'll ever have a scene where he yells at people for eating meat. That could be wrong, but he doesn't eat meat, and he loves animals and all the stuff that a lot of people do, right? And that way he's trying to defend even the little worm, and his history is the opposite, right? That he just, and that's what this issue is about. This issue, you'll see something he did in his past that is just absolutely horrible. But yeah, okay. Okay, we got here Helder. Welcome. I think that's the first time I've seen you in the chat. Welcome. Hey Troy, how you doing, brother? Hilder, if I want to start to learn how to do webcomics, which of your videos I need to start with? Ooh. Well, I mean, the easiest answer here, and I don't want to ramble. I want to try to catch up with everybody, but yeah, thank you for asking the questions, everybody. I do appreciate that. I would say, no matter what, the easiest thing, not even the easiest thing, the hardest thing to do in making comics is the work. So you have to find some way to just draw your comic, okay? From there, I highly recommend Webtoons. Sorry for all the noise here. Webtoons is an amazing platform. I recommend that. You can post Instagram, Tumblr. There's a lot of free resources out there. But definitely do this as a way to get better and to promote yourself. Don't do this to make money. Okay? You can make money by making like commissions, drawing sketches for people. Just have fun. Sorry. As for like what video to watch, maybe go back and check out the Jessup King. There'll be a lot of streams like this. I don't think there's necessarily one video I've done where I talk about like, okay, this is what you need to do to make a comic book. You know what I mean? But if you guys, if you have a question, if you want me to show you, I have like a little cheat sheet here. I don't even care if you guys ask. Let me just bring it up. I shared this on Patreon before. There's some tutorials and all that. And again, I don't want to plug that stuff, but if you go to Patreon, there is like a $3 for the old tutorials. I'm not doing them anymore. But if you pledge $3 or more, you get access to all those tutorials. So there is some writing ones and stuff like that I think is probably pretty good. But let me see if I can find it. So I made this, I call it a cheat sheet, but I really don't like using that word. It makes it seem, I don't know, weird. Mini comic worksheet. So this I highly recommend everybody do once in your life. This is just a printable worksheet I put together where people could check it out. And I'll try to run through it real quick because it is actually really simple. You could change mini comic here to webcomic, so 5 pages, you could change it to whatever. The rules still apply. Just really quickly, the genre, you can put your title here. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm trying to get at is, these are the steps. This is the way that I've noticed work for me. Figure out the beats of your story first. Don't worry about the script, just the beats. The beats are what happens, Joey buys candy. He leaves the candy store. He gets hit by a car. He becomes broken kid car man, a superhero, and gets revenge on the guy that hit him and drove. I don't know. I'm just being stupid, right? But you can figure out the beats. And with 5 pages, you only have to figure out 5 beats. I recommend starting with the end. Know where the end is of your story. And then you make that the opposite at the start. And then the middle is how that happens. So, an example. Let's say, and I always do this one because it's a super simple one with superheroes. So, page 5, the superhero stops the villain from robbing a bank. Okay? That's how it ends. How does it start? It starts with the villain robbing a bank. So what's the transition between the villain robbing a bank and the superhero stopping him? Probably the superhero shows up, right? Or it could be the commissioner calls the superhero to come save the day. Something that has page 3. Then all you do is you figure out, so what happens again from page 3 to page 5? What's the transition from there and there? And you're done. But once you figure out the beats, then the next thing you know is your character design. Sometimes that happens organically. You've already got designs for characters that you already know. But if not, you do that. This also is a great spot to figure out like location design. If you want this to be in a city, in the ocean, all that kind of stuff. Then you do thumbnails because you've already got your beats. That with the thumbnails, you can figure out what you want your page to look like. Then I go in and I go, okay, now what are all these people saying? And then we just go into artwork. And then this one actually is super important, is share it. So many people are shy, or you've already shared stuff and you get no likes, or you get one comment that says, "Stop drawing, you suck." Doesn't matter. Everything you do, share it. Share it, share it, share it. Trust me, people love process. People especially love seeing people grow. And the other benefit too is if you're really not that good, and I say this in a nice way, if you're really not that good, there's lots of people out there that aren't that good, and that means it's easier for them to relate to you. I do think a lot of people get intimidated by, people that are very good, and they might not, you know, they could get a little salty about certain things like that. Anyway, oh, was it the top six? I don't. I honestly don't remember it. It's probably been so long. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate that, buddy. Keeman, welcome, welcome. Troy, I'm going back to acting. Cool, dude. Good for you. Good for you. Cadanuccia, how you doing, brother? It has been a while. Welcome back. Matador, you always show up right a little bit as we get a little meaty in here. I like it. It's always around a half hour you show up. I like it. I like it. All right, let's get back to doodles. All right, so there's a big bloodbath happening here. We're gonna have some characters in here. Hey, yeah, no problem, brother. If you guys have any questions, again, obviously just jam them out there. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Okay, so let's get these other characters in here. So here we're gonna have Momo. They're very small. You can see her just kind of floating there. So we're gonna use our fine line art here. Actually, we can just kill all of that. I don't need to see it. So when you work with characters this small, don't worry about details. Like, I know she has a whole bunch of extremities here, but we don't need that. The color is going to help this anyway, so don't worry about that. So we'll go here, and we will make a contour layer around her, right? So when we turn that back on, all I want is so that you can see her, right? Like, let's be honest, you're probably going to look at the page like this big. You can't even really see her, right? So color is really going to play a big role there, but I'm going to move her up a bit here, just so that she looked weird when she's down here. You get this weird tangent. Put her there. We can always adjust the sizes later if we don't like them. So let's draw some J-pop in here. Hey, come on. It's not an honor. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Keeman, my man. Oh, sorry. It's Nimrod, welcome, buddy. I looked up real quick, and I got it all tangled up. Here, let me mute this while I chew. Okay. And again, we're just trying to maintain the big bulky shapes here. Get little pokeballs over there. I bit my lip. Imagine that. Oh, God, who bites their lip? Bitey's saying, use a real-time board to dot out my story. Another tool, I think. Yeah, I used to use that too. I kind of slowed down with that, but yeah, it's a great way, especially if you like beating out your story with what's it called? Like note cards and stuff. And plus, what I really like about that stuff is it's online, right? So when you're on the toilet, you can still be doing your comic book work. God, I like messed up my lip bad. Jesus. Matador, has anyone heard of Save the Cat Method by? Yes, I have. I think it's great. I think it's a great book. I know there's some flack people give it, but I'll okay. Some praise I'll give it, or reasons why I give it praise is if you are like me and you would like to start writing your own comics, there comes a point generally when you realize like yeah you're not the know-it-all, right? Like ego plays a huge role in artists. Some of us we just go, I'm just writing it. I don't need anything. And then the feedback you get from people is like, yeah, it was okay. And if you want to improve a little bit or a lot, you start looking around, right? You start looking at other things. So that's how I came across Save the Cat. And when I checked it out, it was right up my alley. It was very procedural, like almost here's all the steps you need, and then you plug in your own information there, and now you have a story. And that was super intriguing to me. Um, and now I actually see it a lot in movies, like what was talked about in that book. I don't really use it in what I'm doing. Maybe it's subconscious or subliminal. But the one thing I do remember taking from it was like a combo of that and some other books that I've read of an A plot and a B plot. And I think that might have been Save the Cat. Hey Jessup, you want to come up here, buddy? And the difference between A plot and B plot, you don't have to do these things. But what I like about them is they just thicken up the story a bit. So let's use that story I was talking about before. You coming up, bud? That story I was using before of the superhero stopping the villain from robbing the bank, right? That's the A plot. That's that's the story, right? Lord of the Rings. It's Frodo getting the ring to Mount Doom. Uh, Everything else, Gandalf stuff, all that stuff. Those are like B plots. Like subplots is another word that you might want to use for it. So in the case of the villain, you might also, or sorry, robbing the bank, you might tell a B plot of a kid getting milk for their mom and somehow runs into the superhero who is like down on his luck or something, and because he talked to that kid, it gave him like that reinvigorated courage to get back up and stop that villain. That kind of stuff, where it has nothing to do with him stopping the bad guy. Well, no, that's not true. It's information that you can give to your character or other things to introduce story elements. So an example here, and I'll catch up with what you guys are saying there, is like if you go back and read Jessup King, the first issue, the story is about that first issue anyway is very much about Momo not being selfish. She's a very like I purposely did my best to write her like a big spoiled brat, and the slaves were in there to they're part of the plot for sure, but also the B plot is those slaves to help Jessup give him more of a well-rounded character. Like, how can this guy, be a friend to this evil kind of like bitchy kind of character, right? Like, who would be friends with Momo? That she's like horrible. Um, but because of their interactions with the slaves and all that stuff, hopefully you can kind of hear the way he talks and see that there's a reason why. It's all basically like a front kind of thing. Pillow, is that blood? Oh, it is. Well, we're going blood, man. I've been studying it really hardcore for the past month, and have noticed my story structure getting better. It's writing with beat sheets. Yeah, dude. No, I'm happy for you, man. Glad you're really enjoying that. Nimrod, Keeman is right. It's an honor to be here. Come on, come on. Yeah, we hit the good stuff. I made a Scrivener comic template using the cat method. I think maybe I'm mixing that up. I thought there was one made, but it's cool that you're using that, dude. Like, I'm very much a fan of that. Like, you put all those beat sheets in, and you go, okay, I just need to plug these in, and for the most part, the story is there, right? The hard part's always dialogue and the little things, but like the specific scenes you show. But I think it's a great tool. Anthony, can I get the thing you were showing us earlier, the 5-page thing? Yeah. Actually, buddy, just message me on like Facebook or Twitter. I'll send it to you over there. Yeah, exactly, Matador. And you'll see it like I see it all the time, especially in like those buddy love movies, right? Where it's like, here's the good cop and the bad cop, and the bad cop they need each other, and by the end they figure it out because the other one does something that the other one lacks. The two of them together make one person. Okay, that should be enough of these guys. Let's see if we get lucky here. Mm-hmm. Well, oh, right, right, right. Actually, I think. Oops. We can move him under like this. I like that a little bit better. That way it looks like he's just getting swarmed. Swarm, swarm. So you see, like, it just looks like a bunch of bean people. You don't want to go too crazy. All right, so that panel took forever. Now let's do some fun stuff. I think I'm gonna start with panel. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 3. So we can draw a big juicy close up of Jessup here. That'd be fun. Aeon Timeline. Haven't heard of that. Yeah, Invisible Ink is amazing. I don't know if are they still out of print. I got all three of those books. Invisible Ink, or is there two books? No, yeah, there's three. Invisible Ink, the Golden Theme, and Ink Spots. I'll share this actually with you guys right now. This is the crux of those books in a nutshell. Invisible Ink is the behind the. It's like the skeleton of the story, and once it works, it works. And as viewers or readers or whatever, it's hard for us to see it, but we feel it, and that's the important part of it. As for the golden theme, I don't know if they. Let me see if he's got it here. That's a whole nother thing. But Invisible Ink, this is basically it. This is his story beats, okay? And you can just fill these out for your story, and you'll be good to go at least to get started. So it's, and I've said it before. So once upon a time, blank, and every day, blank, until one day, blank, and because of this, blank, and because of this, blank, until finally, blank, and ever since that day, blank. And you could fill those out, and you've pretty much got like a story, right? You could write Lord of the Rings in that. You can write Little Red Riding Hood, right? It's the main big plots that you're putting in there. And of course, like there's a lot more that goes into it. But a lot of these books, I'll say, at least the one where I've landed on is more of what's his name, Doug Tenaple. If you guys are familiar with him, I stumbled upon his workflow on a forum post, and I sort of kind of filled in the blanks myself to get it to work. But all of these books, like they get you moving in a direction that get you thinking a little bit differently. Because you know, as we all, if you want to write your own stuff, and if you're an artist, you know how hard it is to draw. It's the same thing when you're trying to learn a new discipline like writing. The benefit we have though as artists, especially if you've been drawing for a while, is especially if you're writing for yourself, you probably don't need as robust a script as you might get if you're working with another like a writer on a different project, right? Because you can fill in a lot of those blanks yourself through the drawing. Thanks, Matador. I was lost for a little while. Good to be back. Okay, I'm just going to jump back and forth between these a little bit. Get all that blood on his face. Got to have recurring stuff. I seen Doug Tenapo earlier in a live stream on Jason Brubaker's YouTube channel. Right on. Oh, he did? Bitey, can you share that link if you can find it? I would really love to see that. Thank you, brother. Jesus, I forgot to unmute it. I'm done eating now, so sorry about that, you guys. Oh fuck. Anyway, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Matador, I was saying, yes, Jim Lee's shit is awesome. Ben asked about the whole Starvale thing. I think I muted all of that with my reply. Long story short, I just send editors inks, like, because that's the work I want to do. I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel with comics or anything. I'm just trying to get work. So it's like going for like a job interview. You're just going for the job you want. I'm not trying to show them, hey, here's a really cool thing that I could do with comics. Do you want me to do Spider-Man like that? I'm not worried about that. And I'm not really looking to build my own brand, we'll say, like my own comic thing or that kind of thing. I know that might sound like all over the place, but I'm just trying to keep things as simple as possible. Uh, yes, I posted that link too that Bitey shared, so I appreciate that, dude. Special ruler. Actually, you know what? I think let's try using the C-Tech for this because we can get like some really interesting thin lines. I'm trying to really thin up my speed lines. I went back and I started looking at some of the old art I was doing, and there's a lot of like thick speed lines, and I don't think it looks very good. Makes things look a little muddy. So I'm just gonna put a few down here. We can always, like I can always add more down here if we need them. But what we will do is let's put a mask on this so we don't go outside of it. Cool. There we go. All right, so panel 3 is done. This one's gonna be a little bit more of a, there's more here, but let's get going on that. All right, let's start with some keystone areas. Usually bone is where I like to start, then we can start tossing in just big bulbous anatomy. Right? Let's just knock out like a huge friggin' tricep, just because. The whole point of Jessup is to let me draw really bad, huge anatomy. Like I have an idea of where a lot of this goes, but I'll go back and look at this stuff. I'm like, geez, man, like look at an anatomy book, please. I think it's getting too wild, but it's fun. I want to start adding like these kind of like lines like that for anatomy. I did it with one of the commissions I just wrapped up. Actually, here, hold on. I'll show you guys some goodies. I always forget the way digital works. Okay, let me just sync with Drive because apparently I am out of space, which is that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys some of the commissions that I wrapped up here. You guys might get a kick out of them, might not. It's all good. Upload. So do this in the background. So I'll let those do their thing. Just give me a couple minutes here. I'll show you guys those. All right, let's get some. Okay, so like I was saying, I like to start with like a bone, right? Like so that the elbow, it always goes up to your wrist bone. But the reason I like doing those or drawing these kinds of things first is it lets me kind of build around it, right? So I got the shoulder over here, and I know the triceps connect on either side of the bone there, right? So I can just toss in like this massive fucking over the top anatomy that some people hate. It's all good. Right, so I can get a forearm bone in here. Now I can come in here, and we could also toss in a little. Everybody likes a little hint of bicep, right? But shoulders and tricep. If you want your character to look massive, you give them giant shoulders and triceps, and they could have the dinkiest bicep, and they'll look massive. It's a little pro tip for you guys. All right, so we'll go just knock that in like that. Just big chunky anatomy, right? Just fun. All right, so we're gonna have to adjust some of this because there's a little bit of a twist going on here. I'll give him a little love handle on this side. Now, I like really flaring out these traps because his arms are above him, you know. We can kind of knock those in like that. Maybe give him a little more cuts. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. All right, we can save that up. Okay. You saw Darth Vader, look pretty cool. Thanks, dude. I'll post this online as well. I've just been posting so much stuff today that I thought it'd be smart not to give everybody a little bit of a break. Okay, let me go on to Drive. Where are you at? Drive. Google Drive. Did it sync yet? No, cool. There they are. Okay. So it should work. Let me just move this over here, I guess. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this thing. So this here is, I always butcher the names. Oh man. Okay, let's zoom out a bit here. Thought I could zoom in a little. Well, maybe I'll try this. This is for a character from the Hero. Is it the Hero Code? No, it's Department O, by Jamie Gamble. If you guys have been a friend of my stream for a while, this is like one of the projects I started with. Not this, but with Jamie Gamble of the Hero Code, especially when I was doing digital. So it was great to be able to do something for him. So we did that one. Next up was this beat up Superman. Apparently I can't zoom in a whole lot here, so I'm just trying to, I guess, give you what you guys can get. So we did the Superman one. I think he also wants eventually like a Wonder Woman that's all beat up in a Batman that when they would all connect. Not quite sure I'm going to be able to do that when we're not doing them all at the same time, but we'll see how we go. We did Darth Vader. We streamed a little bit of this stuff too on Instagram. His little red watercolor there. So got that one done. That one was pretty fun. And then Dracula from my book Castle Dracula that has yet to start, but definitely be working towards that big chunky armor. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing those. Do the double live stream, right? Have it next to me. A stream within a stream. How deep does this rabbit hole go? So I'm gonna put the belt on him after here. Let's get everything where it should be. figure the rest of that out later. So I'm not going to draw the leg there because it's covered up by one of these dudes in front. Cool, big muscle naked guy. All right, let's actually put kind of have some of these hands just digging right into this chode, maybe even like right into his face. Yeah, Dracula was actually really fun to do. I can't wait to be able to draw him. And I think I was came up with another name. I believe the main character's name was Pierre. It just started to sound a little too, I don't know, a little weak. Apologies to anybody named Pierre. It's not an attack against you. I think it was, what was the new name? It was like Beth something, like Bethael, Bethanol. I think it was Bethael, something like that. It just had that demonic Castlevania, that kind of feel to it. A little more than Pierre, like Bethael sounds. I don't know, sounds a little more sick, like cool. You always got to go with cool. Oh, there's have you guys seen that Todd McFarlane interview? And I 100% agree. Is like if you can just come up with, and it's super hard, but if you can just do your best to make things cooler than what's already there, you're already on like a pretty good success path. Oops, wrong button. Fuck. Thanks, dude. Just don't try to ask me to draw women, because that's where I fall apart. Hey, Justin, how you doing, buddy? Whoops, wrong button. Where's my reference? Can never remember these friggin' belt patterns. Let's go here. Then it's. everybody's got their I'm not trying to pass that off at all, Anthony, but like everybody's got their thing, right? Some people are really awesome at drawing anatomy, or interestingly drawing anatomy, or interestingly what interesting at drawing anatomy. Some people draw vehicles, mechs, women. Right? It's the rare few that are able to draw. Like you can do a good job drawing a lot of different things by understanding form, first and foremost, always form. But where did where the hell did I just saw that this one comment somewhere. It was about style. Maybe one of you guys have did also saw it too. If that's the case, please refresh my memory where I saw it. But it was something to do with people always talking about like how do you do like your style? How'd you learn your style? Your style, and really what style is, and I agree with this. Right? Style is your lack of knowledge in something. Meaning you probably draw, like in my case, I'm not saying that this is great, but like my style of anatomy is big, chunky, and bulky because I'm not drawing anatomy 100% correctly. I'm blowing things out of proportion, but like there's things that aren't working here, but it gives you a style, right? So it's sort of like in your best interest to understand stuff to break it, right? Because if you understand things enough, you can find a way to break it, and that'll give you your style. But at the same time, the more you strive for understanding, it's been my experience, and I could be, wrong in this, but it's been my experience that the more you strive to get closer to what's real, I suppose, the further away you get from like really cool style or I don't want to say cool art because there's definitely really cool artists out there that are realistic. Um, but it's like it's a dangerous game. You kind of have to balance yourself. Definitely study your friggin' brains out. But there comes a time when style will trump your not your knowledge, but how real something looks, right? Because that's something that pisses people off. Is you can look at somebody going like, let's say Jack Kirby, for example. You can look at his faces or his anatomy and go like, Jesus. Sometimes it looks like he just doesn't even care, right? But that is what makes him him. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he's exploding certain things to for an impact. He's not trying to go. This is how a man looks throwing a punch, right? This is I'm showing you the punch, like the energy of that punch, the story of that punch. That's what he's trying to do, right? As a vague example. Hey, Caesar, how's it going? Style is an accumulation of your mistakes. That might be it. You heard it as well, eh? Okay, good. So it's not just I'm not alone on that one. Let's see where the monsters are. Okay, over here. The aesthetic choices you make, like cross hatch or not, add a lot of shadow or not, is what I thought style was. Hmm. I I agree. I think it's an interesting way of looking at it. It's sort of like that's that definition that you were just saying there, or like your version of it. I agree with when it comes to when you were younger, and you're like you couldn't really describe what it is you liked about somebody's thing. It was just like you look at it. Like I remember when I was younger looking at Joe Mad's artwork, and I was just like, man, that style is so good. And it was just a way of speaking, but it was never like I could articulate why personally why I could what it was exactly that was just there. It was just like you look at it, you're like I look at that and I know it's a Joe Madureira piece. Like I know he drew that. I love that. perfection is overrated. Shit. I forgot. Okay, we're gonna have to rip up this guy's costume in a second. But I also forgot. Where are you? All this crap here. Let me just move this over here. Okay. Let's go back to this guy. Hey, he's God. He's definitely one of the immortal legends, man. That's for sure. At least to me. I mean, but I'm a massive fanboy. Like to me, and I mean this in the most. I guess it's not even really a respectful thing to say, but there's certain artists that I'll look at that I love their art, but I'm not necessarily like blown away by their storytelling. And then there's artists that I'll look at where I'm just like, wow, that's really good storytelling, but their art isn't exactly, blowing me away. And sometimes there's like a nice little like in between there. I just got turned on to. I know it took me a while to get there, but Chris Samney. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his stuff. Just looking through the Marvel Unlimited app there, and yeah, I'm digging his stuff. He was doing. I don't know how. I think he's. I don't know if he's still doing it because that app's delayed. But it was like, what was it? Hawkeye, or was it Hawkeye? No, it was why am I drawing a blank? Daredevil. That's what it was. Really like that stuff. But he's an example. Like again, I think he's got an interesting art style, and his storytelling is very very good. I like it. I think it's very well done. Um, but like he's not Joe Mad. But at the same time, like a lot of Joe Mad comics I read, they're fun. Like there's a lot of energy and stuff in there, but it's not like wow, there's a creative panel there. And I'm not saying that in like a shit talky way. I think I gravitate towards that as well. Like I try to do some creative stuff with storytelling, but a lot of the time I'll push a lot of that to the side in hopes to make a cool looking image. I'd rather people have the feeling of like wow, that's cool than a comic book moment, I suppose, which is good and bad. Like when you're going into comics, arguably you want to. It's all about telling a story, right? But sometimes if you can get people lost in the art, that's. And I know this is a room full of artists, so we're all going to be gravitating towards the art anyway. But the average reader, right? Um, I think they approach comics a little different. Ben, how do you feel about sweet potatoes? I'm trying to eat healthier, and they seem to be pretty solid food. I always hear amazing things about them. I love them, but I don't eat them. I'm a very lazy cook, and my body shows for that. You've had an influence of J. Scott Campbell, Joe Mad, Jim Lee, Mark Sylvester Fincher. You got everybody's got loads of stuff. Yeah. Hey Joe, how's it going? I wish I could just draw period. I am stuck drawing boxes. I have no style or nothing. Hey buddy, trust me. Anybody you look at that's got a style or anything like that, everybody's got to start at fundamentals, right? What's that other saying? I feel like Matador is going to help me out on this one too, or somebody else. And I'm going to break it apart and butcher it, but it's along the lines of mastery starts. Is it mastery? Essentially, it's you only become good when you master fundamentals. If that makes sense. So like boxes, like you're doing, brother, perspective, form, all those things, like they have nothing to do with style. But when you master the understanding of them, that's when you shine. And the better you get at understanding the basics and the fundamentals, that's when you really start shining. Because now you have a better understanding of what the hell it is that you're breaking. You know. So just keep going, Joe. How old are you, by the way, Joe? How long you been drawing for, and you know what's do you have a goal yet for what you're trying to do? Hey, Karen, how's it going? Happy to see you as well. Joe Mad storytelling is meh, but who cares? You're drawing the shit out of you. Yeah, I know, dude. But that's like the fanboys in us talking, right? Nah, screw it. It's comics. Lots of reasons to like them. Just really bring this eye down. That's what I thought too, Matador. I'm pretty sure that was in the original Kickstarter, so I don't know what the hell happened. Oh, really, Chris? Interesting. That's got me super excited. My favorite sweet potato recipe. It's gonna make me want some right now. So you bake a sweet potato, right? No, sorry, you cut that bitch in half. That's what you do. No, that's a lie. You do not cut. Okay, so you cook it like normal in the oven. So I'm making it up as I go. Um, you poke holes in it, you put it in the oven, cook it for a long while. You take it out when you can pierce it with a sword and it's gushy. That's when you want. You take it out, you cut it in the middle so it opens up. This is where it gets magical, okay? You pour lentils in that bitch, right? Cooked lentils. You put those like brown lentils in there, and this is the best part. You take gobs, like generous spoonfuls of hummus. You put them in there. Done. I'm sorry. That's like one of my favorite meals. I definitely don't cook it enough, but that's. See you later. I heard your last scribble chat, and I will say, just do it. I'm with you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's time to stop being a pussy, right? Actually, yeah, let's do this first. Our biological comic clock. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. All right, my friends, I think we're gonna call it for now. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Reason being, a lot of background work. I'm tired. It's time to get ready to go to bed. We got like this kind of thing. This shot here is super simple, but just to catch you guys up. So here's page 1. A lot of violence going on. You know, got a lot of blood, guts. You know, totally changing it up for this issue. So we work in batches of 3. So the next one is this one. I'll give you guys a little heads up here. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups. All right, so this is gonna be a fun panel. He's punching through the mouth of 2 of these guys. Somebody punches him in the head, and they get in a big fight, and he just, this panel here actually is very similar to the last one, but yeah, a lot of fighting, and then it's gonna slow down soon after this, but this is the tricky part. Just having a whole bunch of dudes fighting a dude just takes time. There's always things that take time. You can't always have people talking at a coffee shop, because a lot of times you gotta draw that coffee shop, right? So like things like this top panel and stuff like that. So it's all good. It's all good fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, thank you, everybody. If you're watching or if you're here now and you're a subscriber, we just got over 15,000 subscribers on the channel. I don't know when. Must have been sometime this week. Looks like we're a little bit over 15, but hey, even better. I have no intent of making this or being like a YouTuber, and I still don't want to go down that road at all. So it's very humbling, and I do appreciate it. The fact that you guys are just hanging out with me drawing and stuff, and you get anything from this is even better. So I appreciate all the support, all the shares, the likes, the negatives, the thumbs down, the hate speech, the warm comments, the all of it. Everything that it encompasses, the trolling, all of that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I guess here's to 16,000, I suppose. Whatever. Doesn't really matter, but keep reading comics, you guys. Keep making comics. I'll talk to you all very soon. Goodbye, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.